All right. Hey, everybody. Spidey Librarian here, and welcome to episode 5 of the Spidey Librarian Action Hour, the show where I, a reference librarian and pop culture geek, attempt to entertain and enlighten you with tidbits from the world of librarianship, technology, superheroes, video games, scary movies, and whatever else I happen to find interesting. And hopefully you do as well. Today, as you probably know, is my birthday. It is December 5th, and so I'm a December 5th baby. And so I am another year older. I consider my birthday to also be, it's also known as the time of the day which I take my smartphone and I throw it somewhere soft. And that way when it buzzes and goes off and people try to call me during the stream, I won't be able to hear them, because you know that's what someone is going to do. I'm going to be in the middle of a broadcast and like my mom is going to call or something like that. So birthdays, fun stuff, especially when you're trying to do like a regular show. So anyways, let's see. I'm going to go ahead and just start the recording for this segment, but we've got a pretty good show lined up for you tonight. I am doing a lot of stuff that, since it's my birthday, just stuff that I just really want to talk about, that I really get into. Stuff that you probably won't be surprised to see from me. So for segment 1, for the DLC, we're going to actually talk about video game history, and actually less about video game history and more about the kind of resources that I am kind of consuming as I, to keep abreast of video game history, because it's a topic I really like. And hopefully some of these resources you guys will end up liking, because some of them I listen to or I consume on a regular basis. Others, they're kind of occasional, but you'll get the gist as we go through the list. We've got the Pop Culture Roundup, segment 2, which is going to be headlines from the last week or so, where I talk about a lot of Spider-Man content. Not going to lie. There's been a whole lot of talk about Spider-Man content, and there's Marvel Cinematic Universe stuff. There's a couple of Ghostbusters items still. I only got like one Star Wars item. So anyways, and I got a couple of people. Oh, it says that the mic is lower than usual. I have you all the way up to hear you. Really interesting. Let me just check my mic settings real quick, because yeah, that's definitely a thing. Oh, you know what? Okay, I think I know what the issue is. I basically disabled a bunch of my filters, but I can go ahead and just re-enable the gain. Let me see. Hopefully, okay, how's that? Can you hear me better now? Let me know. And let's see. We've got Dr. Strange in. Good to see you. Hilton Geek says that the sound level is good for her. Hopefully, Wolf, with that, I boosted the gain a little bit. I re-enabled one of the sound filters and upped the volume, so let me know if that is if that's coming in well for you. If it's not, I'm not sure what the deal is. So I did get a new pop filter for my microphone, but I don't think that should really have any effect on my overall volume, so we'll see what happens. All right, the third segment is going to be a fun one, because that's going to be the Spider-Man segment, and that is going to be my kind of top 10 moments from Spider-Man, and that's like across all media. We're talking movies, video games, TV shows, comic books. So I hope you'll stick around for that. That's going to be a lot of fun. And additionally, I'm going to be reacting to the trailer that just dropped yesterday, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Part 1. I'm really surprised that it's out already, like just that the trailer is out. So we'll be doing a good old fashioned trailer reaction tonight. So hopefully you guys will get a kick out of that. And then finally, we're going to end things as always with best part of the show, the viewer Q&A, powered by you, the viewer. So I hope you guys will stick around. Again, Thank you guys for all the birthday wishes. Much appreciated. And yeah, it's been a good one. I did go and get my COVID booster yesterday, and so for part of the day, I was feeling kind of groggy, and I aches and headaches and all that stuff. Not as bad as previously when I got my second vaccine shot. So, oh my god. So you guys can probably hear my horrible neighbors setting off fireworks or, I don't know, firing guns or something. So I'm gonna hear it occasionally, and yeah, if you hear it, that's what's going on. I don't know. They're doing their thing. So a couple of things that I did for my birthday. You guys may have noticed things look a little different, light wise and hopefully camera quality wise. So I got myself a new webcam. It's the Logitech StreamCam, and hopefully things look a little smoother as a result. But that's not the only thing I did. I also got myself an extra ring light, so now I've got light coming in on me from both sides of my desk, and I don't look pasty and overexposed, so that's kind of awesome. And I've my room light is off. That ceiling fan light is just it's off. And I still look decent. Like, you can actually see me. I'm not like cast in shadow. So kind of happy about that. And yes, very trying to up my quality, up my streaming quality game. And Dr. Strange is asking if that is my cat. Wolf, you wanna answer that for him? I know you might have a thing or two to say about it. No, actually, this is my cat Trouble. Trouble is pretty much the real star of the channel. She occasionally shows up and will jump on the back of my chair and murder love on it with her claws. And sometimes she will meow at me for attention. And you never know, she might do that tonight. We're gonna see. So, anyways, so yeah, that is the show, and I think we're gonna go ahead and cut off the record button. So let me go ahead and do that now. Just so you know, last week I did this thing on OBS where I meant to go and hit the stop record button, and I accidentally killed the stream because the record and the streaming buttons are right next to each other. So if I do that, if the stream suddenly stops, stick around because I probably screwed up. So just keep that in mind. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and stop the recording, and I'm gonna go ahead and I just want to let you guys know. Thank you again for being here on my show on my birthday. It really means a lot. And one of the best ways to support me is to go ahead and just THWIP on the like button. It really helps me out. It basically tells the algorithm that people engage with my stuff. Other things that help, if you haven't subscribed, that always helps. Just throw me a sub. I'm at 368 as of today, and if I get to 500, then YouTube will let me start using a community tab, which will give me another way of kind of engaging with you guys through the channel. So don't know when we're going to hit 500. It's probably a ways off, but every little bit helps. So THWIP on the subscribe button, THWIP on the like button, and comment, chat, watch, and hopefully have a good time. And we're going to go ahead and get started with the first segment of the evening, and that is going to be DLC, Discover, Learn, Create. And hold on, let me just go ahead and restart the recording. Okay. All right, and so we're going to go ahead and start with the first segment, DLC, Discover, Learn, Create. And today's subject for Discover, Learn, Create is video game history, and basically the resources that I like to use when I'm keeping abreast of this topic. Video game history, to me, is a very interesting subject and something that I've always had an interest in it. So we're going to go ahead and let me see, where is the... Sorry, this is the point of the show where I have to go looking for some of my documents. So there we go, video game history resources. All right. Okay, so the way the show works is that what we're trying to do is create, we're trying to create YouTube videos out of the segments. So, and I have a feeling tonight's show we're going to be able to make a few videos out of the whole show, which is really exciting. So, so if you guys have any, if you guys have anything to say, to comment about it, it can be supportive comments, it can be stuff you know about the topic. If you want to heckle me, I know Hail to the Geeks likes to heckle me, you know, and a couple of others. Just go ahead and do that. I can't guarantee you that I'm going to respond to the chat immediately, but I definitely am keeping an eye on it. Such as Front Row Negative here asking, why wasn't I in Ghostbusters Afterlife? Is this the whole Rick Moranis thing, huh? And you know, I mean, I would have loved to have been in it, but it just wasn't in the cards, you know? It just was not in the cards. So, all right. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Now, and there is, I've got a couple of questions that I'm going to be asking you guys throughout the show tonight. And actually, one of the first ones is this, because when I've been making the DLC segments into videos, what I've started doing to differentiate them from a lot of my trailer reactions and stuff like that is I basically go and then just start talking. I don't do the, hey, Spidey Librarian here, and today we're going to do, you know, and it just kind of gets right into the action. And I'm thinking about doing that tonight with these segments, even though they're not necessarily DLC content. I mean, this segment is. But I think I might try doing that with some of the entertainment content and just kind of get to the point. What do you guys think of that? Do you think that'll work? Do you think that is, you know, too, you know, I don't know, not friendly enough? I don't know. I have thoughts about it. I'd like to hear what you guys think about it and how you would respond to that kind of an intro. And so we're going to go ahead and get started with this first one. And again, we're talking about video game history resources, all right? And I'm going to go ahead and make a slight adjustment this way. All right. And I wanted to angle this down slightly. And I'm wondering if the gentleman who always is asking about my shirt is going to show up tonight, because he usually pops in, asks a question about my shirt, and can I stand and show it, and then he leaves. It's hilarious. I love it. So, all right. So we're going to go ahead and get started. And yeah, here we go. Video game history is a fascinating I'm going to screw up my lines, just so you know. All right. Here we go. Video game history is an intriguing topic, and I'm going to talk to you about some of the resources that I utilize to learn about it. There we go. All right. Sorry, this is just how I roll. Video game history is a fascinating topic, and I'm going to show you some of the sources and resources I utilize to learn about it right now. Okay, hopefully that should be all right. How is the sound overall? I would like to know from you guys. The sound is something that I'm always worried about. Part of the reason that I've disabled most of my filters tonight is because I keep getting cut off with the noise gates. So let me know. Does it sound all right? Does it sound different than usual? Please, feedback is very much appreciated. All right. Okay, next part. And I think this one I'm going to have a graphic going over while I talk about much of it. So, or maybe not, I don't know. So here we go. Video game history fascinates me. While video games are fun to play, there's a special dimension to the experience when you learn how the games you play and love came to be. There is corporate drama, there is betrayals, behind-the-scenes backstabbing, personal struggles and victories, and a slew of stories behind the scenes that have fascinated video game audiences for decades. Since video games are such a large part of popular culture, there are thousands of facets to this topic. Fortunately, There are more than a few very adept enthusiasts out there who are happy to help chronicle them. I will be doing a lot of this over again, so I know I'm not looking at the camera a lot when I say it. Yeah, I don't know. All right. Okay. I learn about video game history from a number of sources and resources. I don't know why I'm using both of those terms, but it's in the script. I don't understand why. All right. Anyways, I learn about video game history from a number of sources and resources, and I'm happy to give you a rundown of the media I find most useful and informative. All right. So that's a bunch of sentences that I'm probably going to try over again. And let's see, it's about, I don't know, 6 or 7 sentences, so it's not that bad. So, okay. And actually, probably smarter for me to go ahead and pull this up on my phone and put it over here so that I'm kind of sort of looking towards the camera while I do this, because that will basically make it a little less clunky, I think. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's see. Give me one moment, everybody. And believe it or not, I know this sounds like, or I know this seems like I am kind of flouncing about awkwardly. Well, believe it or not, a lot of preparation has already gone into tonight's episode. You guys will see in a little bit. So, all right. So let's see. We're gonna try this one more time, and what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to look at the script and then I'm going to look at the camera and try to say the line. So here we go. All right. Video game history fascinates me. While video games are fun to play, there's something about learning. No. Okay. This is a long one. This is a long sentence. Okay. While video games are fun to play, there is a special dimension added to the experience when you learn about how the games you play and love came to be. There's corporate drama, betrayals, personal struggles, and victories, and a slew of stories behind the scenes that have fascinated video game audiences for decades. Since video games are such a large part of pop culture, there are thousands of facets to video game history. Fortunately, there are more than a few adept individuals and enthusiasts who are happy to help chronicle them. I learn about video game history from a number of sources and resources, and I'm happy to give... Oh, I'm going to try that sentence again. I learn about video game history through a number of sources and resources, and I'm happy to give you a rundown of the media I find most useful and informative. All right. Okay, so there we go. Next part, and believe me, when I get to, like, I know it seems like I'm being enslaved to a script at the moment, but believe me, when I get to the part where I'm actually going through, I'm just going to be kind of riffing. So let me know what you think. Okay. All right. Before we get started, I'm creating more educational content for this channel. For this channel? For my channel? It doesn't matter. Okay, all right. Before we get started, I'm creating more educational content for this channel. If you get value or enjoyment out of this video, go ahead and THWIP on the like button. It really helps me out by letting me know that you enjoy this kind of content and would like to see more of it. If you're... sorry. Oh, right. I could say something about subscribing too. All right, let's just go ahead and do that real quick. Before we get started, I'm creating more educational content for this channel. If you get any enjoyment or value out of this video, go ahead and THWIP on the like button and consider subscribing. Also, if you have any ideas for DLC topics, please go ahead and sound off in the comments. I would love to hear from you. And back to it. All right, so now what I think is the fun part comes up. So we're gonna put it on the list, as Cap says. So let me go ahead and just check real quick. Okay, it should be seeing my images, but it doesn't. appear to see them. What is going on here? Oh, there it is. Jesus, it's huge. Wow. And I don't need you auto flipping. There we go. So give me just a second. I am going to, and some of these images are going to be of varying sizes. So hopefully, like I'm probably going to adjust them a little bit. Okay, and now I need to move over here, which I'm not used to doing. So let's see, but it actually does place me a little closer to the microphone. So hopefully the sound quality will be okay. And so what I'm going to do is between each of these items, I'm going to, I'm gonna flip it to the next picture, and then I will talk a little bit about that item. I'll probably need to resize the pictures because it looks like I had a really big variety of sizes for the images. So hopefully, stick around and we will get to it. So, all right. So the one YouTube channel right now that I go to with any regularity for video game history is the Gaming Historian. Norman Caruso has basically made a career out of doing deep dives on specific games, specific series, companies, and he's got a very big YouTube channel that has a whole lot of in-depth material that I really do enjoy. So he is a really good source as a YouTube channel. I'm sure there are others, I just haven't discovered them yet. So again, please feel free to let me know what YouTubers you like to go to for video game history. All right, and hey, we got a sound off from a Mr. Beast. How you doing? Thanks for stopping by. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. How are you this evening? All right, we're gonna move on to the next image. Give me 1 second here. Okay, I'm going to move this down just a smidge, and we are going to talk about podcasts now. And I've got 3 podcasts that I really enjoy listening to. So the first podcast, well, let me go ahead and rephrase that. So, all right. When it comes to podcasts, I've got 3 podcasts that I really do enjoy listening to. Codex History of Video Games is a podcast I discovered about a year ago, and it must have been kismet because right as I discovered that podcast, they were starting their History of Spider-Man segment, the History of Spider-Man video games. It was a wonderful segment, and as I continued to listen to it, I found that the hosts, Mike and Tyler, they do a whole lot of research for their episodes, but they also have a kind of friendly banter that is at times funny, and that is very casual and accessible. It's a show that I really enjoy and that I think anyone who is interested in video game history should take a look at. All right. Okay. The second podcast that I enjoy is New Game Plus. This is an interesting take on video game history because these gentlemen, Nolan, Dustin, and Kenny, they don't talk about video game history. What they do is they select a new retro game for the next podcast, and they spend a week playing it, and then they talk about the retro games. They also have a really amusing dynamic between the 3 of them. And there is a whole lot of humor and a whole lot of insight that comes out of what they have to say about the games that they've been playing. It's pretty funny when one of them really doesn't like the game that they've been playing. Let me try that again. It's really funny when one of them really doesn't like the game that they've been playing and they're kind of grouchy about it, and it comes through into the podcast. It's a lot of fun and definitely worth checking out. All right, I'm going to do that one more time. It's a lot of fun and definitely worth checking out. And moving on to the next one. finally, the Video Game History Hour is a podcast that is put out by, I think it's the Video Game Preservation Society. And this is a really interesting podcast in the sense that they do interviews with people who are currently or formerly engaged in some aspect of video game history, video game preservation, and it's a more, I would say it's a little bit less casual in terms of tone, but it's very kind of scholarly and very professorly. I think it's a really good kind of counterpoint to Codex and New Game Plus, and I think really kind of works very well for the show. So, all right, and hey, Strider is here. Hey, man, good to see you. How are you, my friend? It's been a second. How have you been? I'm good. It's my birthday. It literally is my birthday today, and I'm doing my live show. So if this is your first time here, I hope you like it. So, all right, we're gonna move on. Okay, all right. So, I am a librarian, of course. It is in my screen name. And so, of course, I very well can't give a segment on video game history resources without citing one or two books, right? I mean, I have to, right? I'm a librarian, right? All right, here we go. As a librarian, I can't talk tonight. As a librarian, it's only fitting that I talk about a couple of books on the history of video games. And one of the ones that I have enjoyed the most is Game On, a video game history from Pong and Pac-Man to Mario and Minecraft and more. This game does a lot of... how to put this? Hold on. Did I say this game? Yeah, that's just where my brain goes. Gaming, All right. Okay. So this book has a lot of short segments on various aspects of video game history, from Atari all the way up to Minecraft and more, and is a lot of fun to read. You can read it in a lot of little snippets, and it's a lot of fun to kind of just pick up, peruse a section, and then you can put it down. If you want, you could read the whole thing through, but I don't think it's really designed that way. It was published in 2016 by Dustin Hanson, and is one of those books that I have occasionally brought home. I read it, I just read little parts of it, and then I put it away, and then I come back to it weeks or months, or sometimes years later. So definitely recommend it. All right. This next book is a book I actually have not read, but as much as I love Codex, as much as I love the Codex podcast, Tyler and Mike highly recommend The Ultimate History of Video Games. They go through the book in chapters, and the author, Stephen L. Kent, definitely has... hold on. And the author, Stephen L. Kent, has definitely had his hand in the video game industry throughout his journalism career. They also do a segment on the various chapters of the books, and hold on. Codex also does a series on the various chapters of this book, and the second one. Stephen L. Kent recently put out a volume 2 of The Ultimate History of Video Games. And again, while I haven't read them, I certainly plan to in the near future. All right. Okay. For those of you who like watching, television shows and movies, I'm going to go through that again. For those of you who like watching television shows and or movies, I highly recommend Netflix's High Score. This series came out about a year and a half ago, and it was a lot of fun to watch. It goes through It chronicles various aspects of video game history, specific people. It has kind of a loose chronology, but it's more thematically based. I believe the show had 6 episodes or 8. I can't remember. But anyways, I think it was 6. Okay. I think the show had about 6 episodes, and it talks about people who lived through various points of video game history, including a couple of contest winners. It talks about Ken and Roberta Williams, who created the Sierra Online series of video games. I think starting with King's Quest. Could be wrong on that, but I think it was. I think they started with King's Quest. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. I know that some of the critics said that this was kind of like a dumbed down version of video game history. I found it to be very fascinating and compelling and highly, highly recommended. I have not heard any word of a second season for this show, which is going to be really unfortunate if that's the case, because I thought this first season was really good and deserves to be expanded on. We'll see. All right, and I think, yes, this is going to be the final item. So let me go ahead and just bring that up. Okay, all right, and let's see. Okay. And finally, there is a movie called The History of Video Games. Now, this movie was made in 2004, so it's 17 years old as of this recording. And I have watched it before, and it's really good. It does a kind of survey of the history of video games up to, I think, the late 90s or early 2000s, and was a lot of fun to watch. It was a good kind of overview of how video games kind of evolved from, I believe, the late 70s or early 80s, all the way up to what back then was the present day. It is a little dated, but I think it has a lot of value kind of as a historical document, you know, as a historical document and movie about video game history that itself, you could say, could have its own history. All right, and I think we have gotten through the list, so yeah, okay. And so we're going to go ahead and just make that disappear. All right. Okay. If you find video game history as fascinating as I do, it would mean a lot to me if you would drop... Hold on. Yeah. If you find video game history as fascinating as I do, it would mean a lot to me if you would drop a suggestion? No. If you would drop a... Sorry, I don't have the outro scripted at all for this segment, so it's going to take me a second here. So, all right. Okay. While I love the topic of video game history, I know I haven't seen all of the resources out there. So if you find this topic as fascinating as I do, please go ahead and drop in the comments some suggestions you have for what video game history resources I might find. For what video game history resources I might find equally fascinating. This is Spidey Librarian, and let me see. Hold on. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay. All right. Until my next upload, this is Spidey Librarian, and I'll be wishing you a good day. All right, and we're gonna go ahead and stop recording. All right, guys. Okay, what'd you think of that? Again, I'm gonna edit it down and make a video out of it, and you know, kind of move on from there. But you know, I'm gonna take out some of the flubs, and I'm going to just kind of get rid of you know, edit it down, make it more impactful. You guys know the drill. So. I've been using a program called DaVinci Resolve lately. I used to use Shotcut for editing videos, and so I'm trying to learn DaVinci Resolve because I think it can do a little bit more. I'm liking it, but it's really slowing down because I have to relearn a program all over again. And yeah, it's been an interesting ride. So, anyways, did you guys enjoy that segment? Please let me know. Sound off in the chat. Sound off in, well, the comments if you're just watching this like after I've broadcast. So, and we're gonna go ahead and move on. So, let's see. All right, let's see. We are going to. All right, Mournhold said he missed most of that. When you say most of that, are you talking most of the segment? Which, okay, I mean, you know, you can watch it on the replay whenever this stream gets uploaded as a VOD. So that's fine. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and restart the recording, and we are moving on to segment 2, the pop culture roundup. So let me go ahead and bring that up. All right, so here we go. All right, and now we are here for segment 2 of the show, the pop culture roundup. That is the segment where I talk to you about the headlines that I found most interesting over the last week in pop culture. So here we go. And we're going to be starting off with news from the world of Spider-Man. There's actually quite a bit to talk about here. But there is a... oh, God. Okay, all right. Gonna redo that. I keep forgetting. So some of you may not be aware of this, but I used to have my camera horizontally flipped so that it mirrored me. And since I've reflipped it back the way that it should be, I have a little bit of like directional spatial confusion, but it's also changed where I have to kind of position myself for when I've got pictures up on the screen. It's really weird. And it's just kind of it like annoying isn't quite the word. It's just a challenge. So, anyways, let's go ahead and start this again. So, all right. So we're going to move on to segment 2, the pop culture roundup. And we're going to go ahead and get started with Spider-Man. There's actually quite a bit of Spider-Man news that has happened this week. So earlier in the week, Amy Pascal from Sony made the comment that Spider-Man No Way Home would not be the last Spider-Man movie with Tom Holland. And she said that they were planning to do another trilogy with Marvel, and a lot of people were very happy with this. And at first I was too, but then I remembered Amy Pascal has a history, and not necessarily a good history, of kind of jumping the gun when it comes to the announcement that she makes with regard to with Marvel Studios. She infamously actually said, with Kevin Feige there right next to her, that the Venom movies starring Tom Holland were going to be considered canon in the MCU. At which point Kevin Feige was like, I'm sorry, what? You know, like it was so when she said what she said about Tom Holland, you know, doing another trilogy of Spider-Man films for Sony and the MCU, I kind of went on Twitter and told people, guys, I wouldn't get too excited about this yet because she's done this kind of thing before and had to take back what she said. And of course, a little bit later, someone was like, yeah, we don't think that's entirely accurate. Here's what I think is probably happening. They're probably in negotiations, and Amy Pascal is basically like, she's really excited. She wants to basically make it happen, and so she's shooting her mouth off a little early, even though the negotiations aren't finished, to basically kind of put pressure on Marvel Studios to show that the fans really do want to see this. It's not a bad tactic, but I don't think it's entirely ingenuous, and so I kind of wish she would stop doing that. But that's just me. So, and I see that Yukio is in the chat. Hey, man, thank you for stopping by. Thank you for the birthday wishes. I really appreciate it. And you're a nerd, too. We're all nerds here, all right? That's all I've got to say to that. All right. In other Spider-Man news, Spider-Man ticket sales are off the chart. Ticket sales were so intense on midnight Monday, so Sunday night going into Monday. I tried to get tickets and could not. And I'm very quick on the draw with this stuff, okay? I went in to get tickets and I basically was told through AMC that nope, you got to wait at least an hour. And that it was already late at night. I was tired. I went to bed. Well, fortunately, one of my friends picked up tickets to Spider-Man No Way Home for Thursday night. So, life is all about the hookup sometimes. But yeah, no. Like ticket sales broke the internet. It was kind of amazing. A lot of the major ticketing sites, they just went down like nothing. So many people were trying to get tickets for themselves and their friends that it crashed the sites. Okay, yesterday, the first trailer for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse dropped. I have not seen it, and we will be watching it later. I cannot wait for this. Into the Spider-Verse is an amazing movie, and so I'm really, really excited to see the sequel. All right, moving on to Star Wars news, and give me just a second for this one because I don't need a script for this. I just need to remember what the headline is. Okay. So for the Book of Boba Fett, which is coming up at the end of the month, and which I am really excited to see, even if, and I'm always going to say this, so even if they're basically recasting, or they're putting Boba Fett into the role of Talon Card from the Timothy Zahn novels, but whatever. Anyways, the Book of Boba Fett is going to have a total of 7 episodes, which I believe is less than people were expecting. I think they were expecting it to follow in the footsteps of The Mandalorian, which has had 8 episodes per season. So the 7 was kind of okay, you've only got 7. All right, well, whatever. But I think that 7 episodes is better than 6. And so I'm just grateful for what we're going to get. And I'm really excited to see Tamura Morrison back. And, of course, Ming-Na Wen, who, I'm not even going to lie, I have a crush on that woman ever since Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And it's only gotten more intense since The Mandalorian. So, all right, we're gonna backtrack slightly and go into the Marvel Universe. The Eternals announced January 12th as the date that property is going to come to Disney Plus. The movie itself was a very interesting MCU film, very, very different in tone, and I think a lot of people were put off by it. I thought it was good. I think the difference in tone is needed, and can you guys see Trouble? She's stretching. Sorry. Okay. I'm just going to start the segment about the Eternals all over again. Okay. So the Eternals is coming to Disney Plus on January 12th, and that's going to be a pretty quick turnaround, just a couple of months. Eternals was a very interesting Marvel movie in that it had action, it had some humor, but it also posed a lot of philosophical questions that you didn't normally see in a Marvel movie. And it also had a very kind of diverse cast and a lot of inclusive themes in it. It was really good and highly recommended. I personally can't wait to see this on Disney+. Kobe Smulders is going to be reprising the role of Maria Hill, which the last time we saw her doing that was in Spider-Man Far From Home. But of course, that Maria Hill was actually a Skrull, so it wasn't the real Maria Hill. But it looks like Kobe Smulders will be playing Maria Hill, for real, hopefully, in the upcoming Secret Invasion Disney Plus show. Looking forward to seeing her back in that role again, as it's been a while since I have seen her in just about anything. I remember her, of course, from, the Avengers movies, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., How I Met Your Mother, but aside from that, I haven't seen her in a lot. So it'll be good to see her back. I'm looking forward to it. All right, let's talk about episode 3 of Hawkeye. So, for those of you who are not watching this series, I highly recommend it. It's a lot of fun. It is, to me, Disney attempting to do Die Hard. So, the third episode was really good. It kind of does, how to put this? It has a lot of really good action scenes. You see that... Hi. Hello, Trouble. How are you? How are you, sweetie? Did you want to be on stream? Do you want to be on stream with us? I'm going to see if I can bring her in just a little bit. She wants to sit in my lap, but she doesn't want to be on camera. Hi, sweetie. How are you? Okay. All right. Okay. We're gonna backtrack it in a second here. So, what's up, sweetie? Do you want me to let you out? Is that what this is about? Huh? I love this kitty. She's like my child in a lot of ways, you know. She's like my baby. She's always crying at me and wanting attention, and I can never give her enough, you know. Hi. Oh, I hear the purrs. I hear the purrs. Oh, she's being very sweet. She's being so sweet. I love her. Okay. All right. Evil villain with a cat in the lap. Hey, I resemble that. Okay. Okay, sweetie, how are you? Oh, she's gonna sit right down in my lap, guys. I've got a lap kitty right now. I got a lap kitty. Okay, all right. Hold on, I'm gonna let her settle in, and then we will continue. We will talk about we'll restart the Hawkeye episode 3 talk. All right, sweetie. Are you settled? Are you settled? Can I resume talking about my show? Huh? No, I'm apparently on a break. She wants the snuggles. Okay. Okay, I think I have a reprieve here. Here we go. All right. Hawkeye episode 3 aired last week, and it was a really good episode. If you're not watching this show, I highly recommend it. The banter between Kate Bishop, played by Haley Steinfeld, and Clint Barton, played by Jeremy Renner, of course, is really well done, and I think the first 2 episodes, while they might have suffered slightly from kind of extra long run times, this one definitely feels a lot shorter and a lot more impactful. And there are some really good action scenes, including a good fight scene between Clint Barton and Echo, who I'll talk about in a moment. But there's also a really good car chase scene, which you guys have got to watch. That was so much fun to watch. It was action-packed and hilarious, and a really kind of good, a really good example of Marvel really coming back and doing these kind of street-level action scenes as good or better than they were doing them on the Netflix shows. And I thought that those shows did those scenes very well. There's a lot of good interplay between Kate Bishop and Clint Barton in terms of not only the banter, but some of the more kind of, how to put it? There's a lot of good interplay between Kate Bishop and Clint Barton that includes not only the banter, but also the more introspective and kind of emotional moments. There's a really good scene where Clint, who is hard of hearing now, he carries a hearing aid, and it got destroyed in a battle. But his son calls him and Kate has to kind of write down on a pad who's calling and what his son is saying. And you can just see, like, she's trying really hard to help him out, and Clint is just like, you can see that he's responding, but you can also see the hurt on his face because with his hearing aid disabled, he can't hear his son, and you can just see the heartbreak on his face. It's a really, really good scene. He plays it well, and so does Haley Steinfeld. Again, Hawkeye, episode 3. I love this series so far. Oh, and I wanted to talk about Echo. I don't know much about the character of Echo. I know that she is a Marvel Comics character. She is deaf, and at least in Hawkeye, she is also an amputee. And man, that does not stop her from kicking Hawkeye's ass in some of their fighting sequences. It was great, and really, I loved it. There's also a really funny nod to the classic Hawkeye costume, where Kate Bishop tries to talk about Clint's brand and shows him like kind of her sketch of the classic Hawkeye costume. It was great and really funny. It's also funny to see Clint turn off his hearing aid whenever he doesn't like listening to someone. He just turns it off and just does his own thing. Again, so many good moments in this episode. Highly worth watching. Highly recommended. Check it out. Excuse me. All right, let's see. We're going to move on. Okay. So, for those of you who watched the Iron Fist Netflix series, I'm really sorry. You're never going to get that time back. It was one of the few duds that the MCU put out, although I guess technically it wasn't Marvel Studios that put it out, it was Marvel Television, but it was... Iron Fist was meant to be kind of set in the MCU just like the other stuff is, and now they're not. And it's all a big kerfuffle. But anyways, one of the best parts of Iron Fist was actually Jessica Henwick's character, Colleen Wing. And I found out recently this week that Jessica Henwick was actually offered a role in Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. And she turned it down because she wanted to be in The Matrix Resurrections. And I gotta admit, I'm kind of sad about that. Now, Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings was really good, and so I'm not disparaging the quality of the movie at all. But what I am saying is that this was a missed opportunity. Jessica Henwick is a great actress and a lot of fun, and I'm sure she would have done excellent in the movie. But it's hard for me to blame her for choosing The Matrix over the MCU at this point, because again, her only experience with it is Iron Fist, and that was just not very good. She was good in it, but I imagine her time there was probably not the best. Anyways, Marvel fans who want to see her are just going to have to go and see The Matrix Resurrections when it comes out to see her character in that movie. All right, and let me see. Okay, and we're down to 2 more items, both Ghostbusters related. All right, Ghostbusters Afterlife director Jason Reitman has said that Vigo the Carpathian could potentially return in a Ghostbusters movie. If you've seen Afterlife, you know that Ghostbusters 2... I'm sorry. If you've seen Ghostbusters Afterlife, you know that Ghostbusters 2 doesn't get a lot of nods in that film, although Reitman has said it counts, it happened. You know, the only real nod you see from Ghostbusters 2 is Ray's Occult Bookstore. But you don't hear anything about Vigo the Carpathian or any of that, you know, any of that particular plot in Ghostbusters Afterlife. Reitman said that everything in Ghostbusters 2 not only happened, but that it is possible that Vigo the Carpathian could come back for another Ghostbusters movie. I don't know how to feel about this. I thought that Vigo was meh. He was okay. He was really over the top. You know, I mean, one of his lines in Ghostbusters 2 is, "This is the season of evil," and it's just like, really? Okay. Now, with that said, I mean, if a good writer and a good director can bring him back and make him more compelling, I would be okay with this. But one of the other reasons that I'm a little hesitant to kind of rah-rah and cheer for Vigo the Carpathian coming back is that Afterlife really kind of retread one of the movies already in bringing back Gozer and Zool and Vince Clothor. And so I kind of would like, if they do end up doing another Ghostbusters movie, for them to really kind of focus on other potential supernatural threats instead of just continuing to retread everything that's been done before. I think that there could be a lot of potential supernatural, nemesis that they could go up against. And again, Vigo, I didn't feel like he was a particularly great villain. He was kind of hammy and over the top, and that was fun for the 1989 movie. I don't know if I want to see it again after watching Afterlife. So, no dancing statues of Liberty in Afterlife? No, not really. All right. Final news item is that there is a new book coming out that aims to kind of present the full history of the Ghostbusters franchise. Give me 1 second. I'm going to resize this slightly. There we go. All right. So the book is called A Convenient Parallel Dimension: How the Ghostbusters Slimed Us Forever by James R. Green. It's going to be out sometime in 2022, and it covers the first 3 Ghostbusters movies, including the 2016 movie. I don't know how much of Afterlife it will cover, but it looks like the author is basically going through each of the 3 movies and the behind-the-scenes goings on and talking about, this is how the franchise came to be. This is what happened during various parts of it. He's also going to talk about the cartoons that came out, the real Ghostbusters and Ghostbusters Extreme, and just kind of all of the media that is associated with the franchise. He's going for an overarching kind of history of the franchise. I'm going to be really interested to read this book when it comes out. So I need to go into my library's website and make a purchase suggestion for this so that I can check it out when it becomes available. Or I could just buy it. We'll see. I don't know. So anyways, that is the pop culture roundup for this week leading up to December 5th, 2021. And I hope you enjoyed it. All right. Okay. Guys, it is 9:30 and I'm like halfway done already. Like, this is kind of amazing for me. All right. So when we do the deep dive, which we're going to do in a few minutes, I may take a little break first. But so when we do the deep dive, that's probably going to take a little while. And I would like you guys to sound off. You guys that are here, what would you like to see first? Do you want to see me do the trailer reaction to Spider-Man Across the Universe Part 1? Or do you want me to do the kind of list of the best Spider-Man moments, like across Spider-Man media? My personal list. So it is my opinion, so, but yeah, let me know, what do you guys prefer? Do you prefer the trailer reaction or the list? And while you guys are putting those comments in, I am going to go ahead and put on some music and the pre-show screen. I'm going to go use the restroom real quick, and then when I get back, we will start recording for segment number 3, which is going to be 2 separate recordings. So, all right. So let's just go ahead and let me see. Oop, what was that? Oh, trouble. Sorry, my cat is knocking things down, so sorry about that. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put this up, and I'm going to go ahead and put on the music, and I'll be back in a moment. All right, and we are back. And for those of you who, if you like that song, one of the reasons that I chose it is that it is called "Go Get 'Em, Tiger," which fans of the Spider-Man movies know that is something that Mary Jane says to Peter. Go get 'em, Tiger. So yeah, hail to the geeks. Oh, okay. Okay, all right, I will. It's my birthday. I wish for you to cast a vote. Aw, aw, aw. You gonna deny the birthday boy? Hmm? Hmm? You can't do that. I mean, you could, but it wouldn't be right. It wouldn't be right. Okay. Okay, so Wolf seems to be siding for the trailer. Yukio says that I should react to the trailer first. So far, the trailer is winning. So I think we're going to go ahead and do that. And let me see. I don't think that's... I mean, no. Hold on. Like, positioning is just always a thing, and so I just can't do it. So... You didn't hear any music? Did I not have it? Did I not have it going? I thought. Oh, I did have it. I did have it up. Or no, I had it there, but it was turned off. I'm sorry, fellas. I will learn one day. But in the meantime, I guess I just kind of have to. We make our blunders. So, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and start the recording. All right, and we're going to move on to the third segment of the evening, where we talk. Well, we're gonna be talking about Spider-Man because, as you guys know, I'm the Spidey librarian, and I chose that name for a reason because I'm a librarian, and also I'm a big fan of Spider-Man, as you can see by the shirts and the hoodies that I wear. So, anyways, so tonight's pop culture deep dive is going to basically be about Spider-Man, and we've got two kind of sub-segments for this one lined up. Now, what I was originally going to do and just do one segment was the kind of my favorite, or at least my most memorable Spider-Man moments across all media, across comic books, movies, video games, TV. And so we're going to do that tonight. But before we do that, we are going to react to the trailer for Spider-Man Across the Universe Part 1. It's the sequel to Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which is a really good movie and has some amazing moments in it. And will definitely be making my list, you know, in the other segment. But I think what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and set up the trailer. So give me just a moment here. And I think what I may need to do is move my, I may need to move my window over. So give me 1 second. And again, we've got a, we've got this situation that since I have reversed my, like I've reversed my camera angle now, I have to change where everything is on the screen. And so, yeah, it's a little, it's a little bit weird, but, you know, I'm slowly getting used to it. We're slowly getting used to it. So let's go and take a look Across the Spider-Verse trailer. And there is IGN. I guess I could do them. I'd really rather go with Sony. There's Marvel Entertainment right there. Let's go with them. What I don't like about IGN is that they tend to slap their own little kind of custom stinger trailer on their versions of the trailers. I don't like that. I just want to see the trailer that like the originators kind of released. So I'm going to move back over here. I'm going to flex on the arm here. And I believe, let's see. Let me make a couple of camera adjustments real quick here. All right, so there's the window capture. And we have got... There we go. We're going to get it up here. Oh, right. And I need to put it up on... I need to put it up over here. Sorry, fellas. Okay. We need it full screen. Okay. All right. Looks pretty good. I need to make a couple of physical adjustments. But... once we do that, we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, you know, gotta move the other monitor. You know, gotta turn it so that I can watch it properly here. So, all right. So I think what we're gonna do is we've started the recording. So I'm gonna go ahead and kind of record it like one of my regular trailer reaction videos, and hopefully I'll get this up in the next day or so. All right. So here we go. Hey everybody, Spidey Librarian here, and today I'm excited to come at you with a reaction to the trailer for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Part 1. All right. Okay. So, if you know anything about me, hold on. I'm going to start that again. That was awkward. All right. So, if you know anything about me, you know that I loved Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I've been waiting for a sequel. I've been following the casting news. And I had heard recently that there was some good news about a Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse sequel trailer. But it dropped yesterday, and I was not expecting it. So I have not yet watched it. We are going to check it out right now. All right, hold on. We're going to do that again. Okay. We're going to check it out right now. Hold on. I like to point when I do the right now. So, and we're going to check it out right now. All right, and now I need to move over here. Again, this feels weird, but whatever. And now... let's see, we're going to bring up the window capture. And usually I have a viewing border, but that's actually on a different scene. And so I'm not gonna worry about that. I don't think it makes a huge difference, and I don't think people really care. So yeah. All right, guys, you ready? I have not seen this. I've not seen this at all. It's been out for about a day now. So yeah, I'm excited. So all right, here we go. Ooh, yes. Yes. Okay, why is the... Oh, okay. It's the dimensional thing.
Miles!
Wow.
Got a minute?
Oh, wow.
When? How did you get... How have you been?
It's a long story. Is this the room you grew up in?
It is. But, my dorm room is very adult.
Right. No, of course.
Of course.
Hey, are you surprised?
What? No.
Good.
Aww.
I missed you too.
Aww.
So, what are you doing here? I mean, I thought I'd never see you again.
Yeah.
Want to get out of here?
I'm grounded.
Bummer. Is Spider-Man grounded?
I mean, I...
Come on, man. Oh god, this looks like it's gonna be so good again. Oh god, the animation, the character moments. Oh, I'm loving this. Whoa! Is he fighting 2099? What the hell? Wow. Part 1, yeah. Oh my god, that was awesome. Oh, I loved it. Oh my, like, and again, Into the Spider-Verse was such a big deal. It was a big deal just because of the story it told. It was a big deal because the animation was not only cutting edge, I mean, it broke borders in a lot of ways. Those two things really kind of worked together to make the movie, which, even if it had been just the sum of its own parts, it would have been amazing anyways. But yeah, like, what I'm seeing here is, like, they are just kind of taking it and running with it as much as they can. And I'm here for it. Like, I mean, again, you know, it's easy to say, it's a Spider-Man movie. Of course he's gonna love it. But it's it's just one of those things where, like, this looks like they're taking what they've already built in the first movie and really, I mean, not just building and expanding upon it. It looks like in some ways they're taking a sledgehammer to it, you know? I mean, 2099 and Miles fighting? That is just nuts. And, like, it's probably the result of some superhero mix-up like you see in a lot of superhero comic books and movies and things like that. But wow, that was just an interesting way to start things off. So this was a lot of fun, and I cannot wait to see more. Give me more, and give it to me now, Sony. Just give me all the media. I want it, and yeah. So, all right. And oh, hey, Maria, my sister has popped into the chat. Thank you for stopping by. Wesley and I are here to say happy birthday. Love you, Bubba. Happy birthday. Have to put this kiddo to bed. Thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it. And I'm sorry, I saw that you'd called earlier, but I'm in the middle of a live stream and I could not take the call. So I'm sorry about that. But I will certainly talk to you soon. But thank you so much. All right. And they just leave you hanging, waiting for more. I mean, that's what a good trailer does, you know. All right. Did you notice his suit is different and the art style is also slightly different? Yes. Yes. No, the art style definitely changed once or twice. And yeah, I noticed that Miles' suit, it's not like the spray painted one anymore. It looks a bit more professionally done, I guess. So yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to seeing like why that happened and how that happened and everything. So, but anyways, all right, let me go ahead and finish up the rest of the video. So, okay. I hope you enjoyed this reaction, and if you did, go ahead and THWIP on the like button. It really helps me out and lets me know that you enjoyed this kind of content and would like to see more. All right, what else? Comment, I can do, oh, right, okay. I'm premiering these reactions on my live streams, so if you would like to see them, go ahead and, yeah, okay. I'm premiering these reactions on my live stream, so if you would like to see them longer and unedited, go ahead and THWIP on, no, yes. If you would like to see them longer and unedited, go ahead and THWIP on the subscribe button as well, so that way you'll know whenever I go live. You can find me on other social medias as well. I'm also active on Twitter and Instagram, also as Spidey Librarian. Comments, okay. Did you like this trailer? Did you not like this trailer? Let me know what you thought in the comments. I would love to hear from you. And I think that's everything. Thanks again for watching. This is Spidey Librarian, and until my next upload, I'll be wishing you a good day. All right. And we're going to go ahead and stop the recording, and then we'll go ahead and restart it. So we're going to do that now. All right. Okay, and now we come to the point in the show that I find to be a whole lot of fun. We are going to be talking about Spider-Man, or more specifically, we're going to be talking about my top 10 most memorable moments across Spider-Man media. So I think you guys will get a pretty good kick out of this segment because it's basically going to be me talking about some of the moments that, I mean, some of them are a little obscure, so you may or may not jive with some of these, but hopefully you enjoy them. And again, you know, we're making videos here, so let's go ahead and see what we can get started here. All right, here we go. Hey everybody, Spidey Librarian here, and I'm excited to present to you my top 10 most memorable moments throughout Spider-Man media. All right, so I think that sounded pretty good. Hopefully it looked okay. If you guys notice any issues, let me know about them, but we'll go ahead and just move on from here. So, all right, and just so you guys know, probably this one and the, I mean, any of the other segments that I make into videos, like, they may get edited. Like, when I'm talking, you might see, like, where I used to have, like, a graphic up in part of the screen, you know? Like, you might see me playing, you know, a still frame or a video, like, over the entire screen while I'm talking about it instead. Just know that that's a thing that could happen, you know? So, you know, when you go back to re-watch all of this really cool content, you know, it might not always be the same. And I think that's not a bad thing. So, all right. So, anyways. All right. Okay. It's going to take me a second here. I've been a Spider-Man fan for pretty much my entire life. I remember from very early on hearing the Spider-Man origin story, even as a toddler, and thinking, wow, that is a heck of a story. And through the years, I've kind of ebbed and flowed on my interest in Spider-Man. Sometimes I was constantly reading Spider-Man. Sometimes I stopped reading comics altogether for a few years. But when I came back, I always came back to Spider-Man. I collect Spider-Man Funko Pops. I collect Spider-Man pins. I collect Spider-Man anything. I collect Spider-Man shirts, okay? So it stands to reason that I have a lot of memories tied up with this character and the many types of media in which he has appeared. So what we're going to talk about in this list are some of the most significant... Hold on. But what we're going to talk about... What we're going to talk about in this list are some of the most personally significant and memorable moments for me throughout the Spider-Man franchise. All right. Now give me a second, because this is going to start somewhere that I don't want it to. Huh, that's interesting. Where'd it go? Oh, okay, it's doing that. Oh, no, that's where I want to start. Okay, all right. Okay. So there we are. And again, this brings me closer to the microphone, so, you know, I mean, hopefully there won't be any issues with sound here. So let me go ahead and do this. All right. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and do this in top 10 list format, where we count it down. Let's see. Actually, let me do this for the video. All right. This list will be in top 10 countdown format. They are not in any particular order until I get to number 1. I do have a most memorable moment, but the other 10 are, again, not in any particular order. I hope you enjoy it, and here we go. All right. Actually, yeah. All right. And hold on. Before I continue here, I'm going to... Oh no, I seem to have lost the page that I wanted to. I had a... It's not really a script, it's more just kind of the titles of each of the moments. So let me go ahead and pull that up real quick, because I want to have, I want to be able to name each of the moments. So I'm kind of doing this in the kind of the Watch Mojo format. So let's see. Hold on. There we are. Okay. All right, so here we go. Okay. All right. Number 10, Along Came Spidey. I mentioned earlier that I remembered Spider-Man telling his origin story. Hold on. I mentioned earlier in the video that I remembered Spider-Man telling his origin story even as a child. After doing a little bit of research, I found the episode that I remember from so long ago. It's the episode Along Came Spidey from Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. In this episode, Spider-Man's Aunt May has been attacked by the Shocker, and while she is laid up in the hospital recovering, Peter has a guilt trip and tells his friends, Iceman and Firestar, about how he became Spider-Man, how he gained his powers, and how, as a television personality at first, his thoughtless actions led to the death of his Uncle Ben. This is a story that stuck with me for years. It is the only thing from the 1980s cartoons that I can remember, but I remember it well. And yeah. And it's one of those moments that simply stuck with me even from childhood. All right. Ah, wrong way. All right. Huh, that's not the one I wanted. Hold on, something is happening with this file. Sorry guys, I'm gonna need a minute here. We are having technical difficulties. Please stand by. Okay, what is going on here? Alright, I am going to just get rid of this and then we will repurpose it. It may have added the directory, but since I did it before I put the images in, it might not be necessarily, it may not be processed. There we go. This is the image I wanted. Okay, all right. Number 9. The Doc Ock subway fight, Spider-Man 2. This is not only one of the best action sequences from a Spider-Man movie, this is one of the best action sequences from a superhero movie. And in 2004, I believe, this was jaw-dropping. It is a fight that was wide-ranging. It went on for a long time. And this entire scene is just so well done. Not the least of which for the immediate aftermath, where Doc Ock basically throws away... Not the least of which for the aftermath. Not the least of which is for the aftermath, in which Doc Ock throws off the brake switch and the subway is careening towards off of the rail where it ends. Peter, who has lost his mask during the fight, throws out all of his webs to try to save the subway and the people in it, and unknowingly gave birth to a lot of really good memes. Another memorable thing about the scene is how the people in the subway car treat him after he collapses from the effort. They basically kind of lay him down very tenderly, and they say things like, "My God, this guy's just a kid. He's not any older than my son." And eventually some kids show up and they get Spider-Man's mask back to him and they tell him, "Don't worry, Spider-Man, we won't tell no one." It is a heartwarming scene that comes on the heels of this fight, and I can't separate the two scenes. So this whole sequence is number 9 on my list of most memorable Spider-Man scenes from all media. Number 8 is the Mysterio fight from Spider-Man Far From Home. Spider-Man Far From Home is a fun movie. It is a lot of... hold on. Spider-Man Far From Home is a fun movie, and I think one of the most memorable things... Spider-Man Far From Home is a fun movie, and I think one of the most memorable things about it are the visual sequences, particularly during the Spider-Man and Mysterio ambush fight. That is one of the... Hold on. That scene is film doing one of the most... Sorry, that's an alarm for me to give Trouble her meds, so... Alright. That fight scene is film taking some of the best Spider-Man and Mysterio fight scenes and doing a tremendous job of bringing them to the screen. Alright. That fight scene is the film taking some of the best comic book fights between Spider-Man and Mysterio and showing how good they can be in film. It is a dazzling fight. It is a terrifying fight in a lot of ways, and it's something that all Spider fans, when they watch it, are never going to forget. Number 6. Hold on. Okay. Number 6. Peter and Uncle Ben versus the symbiote from the animated series The Spectacular Spider-Man. Spectacular Spider-Man is one of those shows that evokes a lot of happiness and a lot of sadness from me. It ends after 2 seasons, and it ends on a cliffhanger that never gets resolved. But during the run of the show, you get some really good... During the run of the show, you get some really good kind of Spider-Man milestone stories that take place in this series. During one really good episode, Peter realizes that the symbiote that has been helping him out is using him, and he tries to basically separate it from him. The symbiote is not happy about this and decides to kind of wage a psychic war with him. And Peter looks like he's about to give up until he receives aid from an unlikely source. The memory of his Uncle Ben. Uncle Ben shows up and basically tells the symbiote, "You can't take my nephew, he's too strong for you." And does a really good job of narrating not only how Ben ended up dying in the show, but also showing that Peter's strength comes not only from Ben, but from Aunt May and from Gwen Stacy and Mary Jane and Harry Osborn and all of his friends, and does a really good job of helping Peter to kind of win his psychic war against the symbiote when it tries to permanently bond with Peter. It is an excellent and emotional segment from the show that I highly recommend you watch if you haven't seen it. Okay. What number are we on? Is it 5? Hold on, let me see. 5, 4, 8. No, I think we're on 6. 10 is Peter tells his friend about his origin. Sorry, the list wouldn't format the way I wanted it to, and so I'm counting back, and it's really kind of just throwing me off. So 10, 9, 8, 7. Okay, that was number 7, not number 6. So, all right. So, just for sound purposes, because I think I said 6. So, number 7. Peter and Uncle Ben versus the symbiote. Spectacular Spider-Man. All right. Okay. So number 6. All right. Number 6. Come on, Spider-Man. Spider-Man Homecoming. So this is one of those scenes that really kind of made me feel for Peter Parker in multiple ways. One, it's an homage to a really famous comic book moment, Amazing Spider-Man number 33, which is known as the final chapter, or also If This Be My Destiny. But that scene also reached out to me on another level. When Peter is trapped under the rubble that the Vulture has brought upon him, you can see that he's scared. You can see that despite his powers, he's been placed in a position where he could get hurt. He's very vulnerable. And at one point, when he calls out for help, your heart just breaks for him. At the end of the day, this is still a kid. And in that moment, you really feel it. He's a helpless kid crying out for help until he finally decides, no, I'm not no one without the suit, and calls on his inner strength and manages to pull himself out from under the rubble. Again, just like this moment from Amazing Spider-Man number 33. A classic moment that gets a really good homage in a modern movie. All right. Number 5, The Leap of Faith. Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse. This is another emotional moment for me because I am a huge fan of Miles Morales, and I was a big proponent of the stories that were told in the comics. So when I found out Into the Spider-Verse was coming out, I was so excited. But you find that Miles in that movie has a heck of a time learning about his powers. He can't do them on command, which kind of undermines the other spiders' confidence in him. And eventually they kind of leave him, behind so that they can go on the mission that Miles is actually meant to do. Miles, who has been webbed up by Peter B. Parker, who is told, it's a leap of faith. You don't know if you're going to succeed. You just take the leap and do it. And when Miles manages to burst free and then takes the leap of faith, you can see that Miles, even though he may technically be falling, he's really rising to the mantle of Spider-Man. It's a beautiful sequence and really very kind of emotional because you see Spider-Man finally come into his own here, and Miles really becoming and taking on the mantle of Spider-Man in a way that really fits the character. Number 4. Hey everyone. Captain America: Civil War. This moment is one of the biggest emotional gut punches for me ever, because I've known for a very long time that the Marvel Cinematic Universe was... Hold on, I have a needy cat. Let me let her in. Good evening, my queen. How are you? Was the rest of the house to your liking? Okay, all right. So this moment is a really emotional gut punch for me. I had, by the point that this came out, gone through several kind of mental and emotional renderings of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I knew that the MCU was really, really good, and that, like, in an ideal world, every single Marvel Comics character would be in it. But I also knew enough about the studio situations to tell myself, well, unfortunately, we're never going to see Spider-Man in this. I had emotionally accepted it. I was okay with it, and I didn't ever expect to see Spider-Man in the MCU. Then the Sony email leaks of, 2014, 2015 happened. And I need to leave that in. But then the Sony email leaks of 2014 or 15 happened. And we learned that Sony had been talking to Marvel Studios about putting Spider-Man into the MCU, and I can't tell you the feelings that I felt when I found that out. Even with the casting, which was fairly high profile, like who was going to play Spider-Man, I didn't allow myself to really hope that it was going to happen. And then in May of 2016, right before Captain America Civil War happened, this trailer in the last 10 seconds goes and shows Spider-Man grabbing Captain America's shield, doing a landing, and saying, "Hey, everyone." And I and millions of people across the internet lost it. Because our boy was in the MCU, where he belonged. And so far, I've been really happy with how the MCU has used him. And I hope that we see even more of this character after Spider-Man No Way Home. Number 3, Doc Ock reveals that he knows that Peter is Spider-Man. Marvel's Spider-Man, PlayStation 4. One of the things that I loved about Spider-Man 2 is that it took a very different approach to the character of Dr. Octopus than the comics had. Yes, that Dr. Octopus was brilliant, but that Otto Octavius was way more well-adjusted than the one in the comics. In Marvel's Spider-Man for the PlayStation 4, they take a similar approach to that character, which makes his fall even more tragic. This Dr. Octopus is Spider-Man's mentor. He is Spider-Man's boss and employer. And when he learns that Peter is helping Spider-Man, he actually gets behind him and says, "You're a great person, and I really am privileged to be working with you." And we know what's going to happen by the end of the game. Octavius is going to fall, he's going to become Dr. Octopus, and he and Peter are going to fight, which is heartbreaking in and of itself. But then you learn in the PlayStation 4 game that Octavius calls Spider-Man Peter, revealing that he's known all along that Peter is Spider-Man, and basically tells him, this is why I tried not to kill you before. And it adds another degree of tragedy to an already tragic situation where Peter has to take down his mentor, someone that he's looked up to, and someone that he considers to be a brilliant scientist. It is a heart-wrenching and gut-wrenching moment, and makes for one of the best reveals in the game. Oh, right. I forgot that this was in there. All right. I'm just going to repeat what I said before. So it is a heart-wrenching and gut-wrenching moment that makes an already tragic situation even more tragic, as Peter has to take down his mentor, his boss, and someone that he looks up to as a brilliant scientist. It is one of the best and most It is one of the best and one of the most heart-wrenching moments in the game. Number 2, distracting a Phoenix-powered magic and Colossus. Avengers vs. X-Men, number 9. Avengers vs. X-Men was a summer crossover from a few years ago, where essentially the Avengers are the Avengers try to take Hope Summers into custody to protect her from the Phoenix Force. The X-Men take issue with this, and the two teams fight as a result. Spider-Man, being on the Avengers, at one point takes Hope under his wing and mentors her. She doesn't really pay that much attention to him until they go on a mission, and Spider-Man, who had been talking to Hope about knowing when your moment comes and acting when the moment requires it, basically sees an opportunity to let the Avengers break into the Hell Dimension, grab their grab their captured comrades and escape. Colossus and Magic are there, but Spider-Man sees an opportunity to seal himself into a room with them and basically distract them so that the Avengers can rescue their comrades. In the ensuing fight, Spider-Man is no match for either one of them, much less both of them. But even though they beat him to a bloody pulp, he manages to distract them. He manages to keep them off balance. He manages to give his team a win at the cost of his own physical well-being. It is one of the biggest power and responsibility moments that I have ever seen Peter perform in any of the comic books. And it's a moment that if you're not familiar with it and you like Spider-Man, you should check it out. And finally, number 1, the conversation. Peter and Aunt May talk openly about him being Spider-Man. Amazing Spider-Man, Volume 2, number 38. In my opinion, some of the best moments in Spider-Man are not the big action sequences, but the real personal moments. The ones where there is genuine growth between characters, between Peter and his many, his large ensemble of supporting characters. Obviously, Aunt May is one of the most important characters in that ensemble. And for the longest time, Peter had been keeping from her the secret of his identity as Spider-Man. In John Michael Straczynski's run on Amazing Spider-Man, one of the things that he does is he has May walk in on Peter after he has fought a really gigantic and epic battle with Morlun. And Peter is recovering. He's unconscious. He's bandaged up in bed. And he's taken a bunch of painkillers, so he is dead to the world. May had come by and opens the door and sees Peter bloodied and bandaged in bed. And she sees his Spider-Man costume and basically figures out, oh, God, my nephew is Spider-Man. And it takes a couple of issues for them to actually have the talk because, one, they were delaying it for dramatic effect, but also 9/11 happened, and the infamous 9/11 issue came out right before this issue, where Aunt May comes to Peter's apartment and tells him, I know that you're Spider-Man. And after he tries briefly to kind of lie to her, she's like, stop insulting me and tell me the truth. And he tells her, I am Spider-Man. And she asks him a bunch of questions, and they talk about, kind of some of the day-to-day stuff and how he managed to do it for so long and everything. And during this moment right here, this is probably one of the most joyful moments that I have ever seen in comics. But May basically tells him, she's like, well, ever since you were a teenager, I knew, you were hiding something, on top of that, you were quiet and sensitive, and you didn't like sports, and you were always awkward around girls. I knew something was in the closet, oh wait, hold on. To tell you the truth, Peter, for a while, I thought, maybe that you were gay, which was fine because you were still you and I accept you either way. I mean, I knew something was in the closet. Could have been a chiffon, but who knew it was a costume? And in that panel right there, the look of joy on Peter's face, where he realizes that his aunt accepts him and, accepts that he is Spider-Man. I mean, and he lifts her up and he's like, do you know how wonderful this is to just be able to talk the way that we used to? And, Maya's like, yes, a weight off your shoulders. Yes, a weight off my shoulders. And she's like, yes, very good. Now please put me down, because she's not used to her nephew, who she thought was very kind of fragile, being superhumanly strong. It's one of the most emotionally charged and just kind of triumphant moments in all of Spider-Man. And it occurs in his apartment. Hi. And it occurs in his apartment between him and his Aunt May. It is, for me, the most memorable and for me the best moment in all of Spider-Man. All right. Okay. All right. Trouble. She's such a diva. You're such a diva. Yes, I'm talking to you, you little diva. All right. Okay. What do you think, Jeanette? Another moment that we should leave in? Which, by the way, I've been meaning to do this forever, and so I've just done it now. I've made Jeanette a moderator on the channel, so. All right. Oh, thank you, Wolf. Well, thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. Thank you for the birthday wishes. So, have a good evening, and I'll talk to you later. All right, continuing on. I hope you enjoyed this list, and if you did, go ahead and THWIP on the like button. It really helps me out by letting me know that you enjoy this kind of content and would like to see more. Also, hold on. I'm also recording many of these. I'm also recording many of these videos on my live streams. So if you would like to see them longer and uncut, go ahead and THWIP on the subscribe button as well. That way you'll know whenever I go live and whenever I upload a new video. What are some of your favorite Spider-Man moments? Let me know in the comments. I would love to hear from you. And then finally, social media. Okay. All right. You can also find me on other social media. I'm active on Twitter and Instagram, also as Spidey Librarian. All right. And I think that's everything. Yeah, I think that's everything. Thanks again for watching. This is Spidey Librarian, and until my next upload, I'll be wishing you a good day. All right. Okay. All right, guys. We did it. This has been great. And I know it's 10:30. I know it's longer than I want it to be. But we're on the last segment. We're on the final segment. We are ready to do the... Cat was responding to my emotions. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. She's sweet. I love her. I found out that Google Photos actually has started identifying trouble and has an album of trouble pictures in my phone that is just like from when she's a kitty, like from when she was small enough to fit in one of my hands. And oh my God, it is just it's adorable and heartbreaking, and I love it. So all right, anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and start the recording. Okay. All right, guys, it has been a couple hours. Thank you for sticking with me. I really appreciate it. It is a wonderful birthday gift. And you guys have been just participating in the chat and talking to me, and I love it, and thank you so much. And right now, we are going to do the viewer Q&A, powered by you, the viewer. So in this segment, you guys can ask me questions. They can be personal questions. They can be reference questions. They can be, what are my opinions on topic X, So at this point, go ahead, and if you guys want to go ahead and drop it in the chat. What any questions that you have for me, and in the meantime, while you guys are coming up with questions, I have some questions for you. So I've been thinking that one of the things that I want to work on is, like, I'm thinking what we might start doing for the show is we can start doing like a trailer reaction segment. It could be a replacement segment for other things, because a lot of the other segments I haven't started actually making videos from yet, although that may change tonight because DLC I'm already working on, but like I've also got a good deep dive for the Spider-Man stuff. We've got 2 things to make out of videos for that, make into videos out of that. So, we could either do it in addition to or in replacement of all of the segments that we've got. Jeanette is asking, do I have an Amazon wish list? Yes, I do, actually. Do you want me to post it? Because I will. I don't. I'm one of those people, like, I have an Amazon wish list, and like on my Facebook I posted it like a month before my birthday, but I have, like, I'm really reticent to post it without it being asked because I feel like that's kind of greedy. But also it's my birthday, and so like I figure if you're gonna share a wish list, that's a thing that I should do. But yes, I do have an Amazon wish list, just so you know. But yeah, what do you guys think? Like, should we just, because what Wolf does on the Discord is whenever he sees a trailer that he wants me to react to, he'll go and post a link to the trailer in my Discord, and then he'll tag me in it. So that way I'll see it, and depending on when it is, whenever I do my next live stream, we can do a reaction to that. Now, it could be a reaction here on the show, or I'm planning to move my Twitch streams to YouTube starting later this month. Like, I think my next stream, which would usually be on Twitch on Tuesdays, is actually going to be here on YouTube. It's going to be me playing Marvel Contest of Champions, so it might not be for everyone, but it'll be like a gaming stream. And I'm going to try to do more gaming live streams because I like those. They're fun, and I just like gaming. And so, but I mean, like, what do you guys think of that? Should we do a segment like that on the show? Should I keep it to my other live streams? What do you guys think? So let me know. And again, do you guys have any questions for me for the viewer Q&A? Huh? Let me ask you guys this too. What are your thoughts on, for instance, me kind of putting up like donation links or things like my Amazon wish list or things like that? Like the Amazon wish list I would only do on special occasions like my birthday or something. But like, I've seen other people like Prof Hoff, he'll have like if you want to donate, here's, you can send it to this PayPal widget or something like that. I do eventually think I want to, apply to the YouTube partnership program, but I have to get 1,000 subscribers first, and then I have to get 4,000 watch hours in a year. That's going to take time, so it's not anything that I'm planning on doing soon. But it is kind of a thing that I want to work towards. So if you guys have any suggestions in the meantime about what you think about me doing stuff like that, which I could do before I join the partnership program, let me know. I would really like to hear it. So, all right. So does anyone have any other questions? Anything that you want to ask? Let me know. The question could get made into a video depending on how well I answer it and how, if I think I can find any supporting footage or anything for it. I'm happy to do it. Otherwise, if we don't have any questions tonight, that is fine too. It's 10:30. I'm tired. Jeanette, I'm probably not going to come in tomorrow. I've already spoken to Becky about it, so she says that that's okay. Although I don't think you're going to be in tomorrow either. So, anyways, let me know. Yeah, I have questions for you guys. You guys can ask me questions, and if you don't have any, we can go ahead and call it an evening. So, I'll give it a few more seconds, and if we don't have anything, then I'll have a fun time coming up with that section of the thumbnail, because usually I've been doing the viewer Q&A based off a question that someone has asked me in a previous segment. So, all right, Hail to the Geeks is asking about my thoughts on the Babylon 5 reboot. What? They're rebooting Babylon 5? Are you serious? Okay, well, I don't know what to think about that, because reboots can be great, and reboots can also be terrible. I guess for me, the big question is JMS going to be involved? Is not only is he going to be involved, is he going to be running it? Because if he's not running it, I'm not sure that it has any business getting made. Babylon 5 was a very kind of personal project that Straczynski put a lot of his own personal touches on. As a writer, as a showrunner, he made that show. I loved it. The 1990s series was amazing, and just I can't even tell you how much I love that show. I actually remember watching episodes and then just going, I hate JMS. I hate someone who is that talented, And so, how long is the delay on the chat? I don't know, actually. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to clap, and we'll see how long that takes, because I really don't know. If I had to guess, I would say that there's probably a minute or so delay, but I could be wrong about that. But let me see. It's been maybe 20 seconds since then, and okay, I just saw myself clap. It looks like it's a 20 to 30 second delay on the chat, just so you know. And I don't know how to get around that yet. I'll figure it out someday. That's hopefully one of the tricks that I'm going to be coming up with as I become a better YouTube streamer. We'll see. But in the meantime, yeah, I don't know. So, but yeah, no, Babylon 5, they're rebooting it. Okay, I have questions. I have feelings. I would love, in theory, to see it. But I also think that a lot of the charm of the original was in the cast, and a lot of those actors are dead, unfortunately. And I mean, if you're going to reboot it, I mean, those characters have aged anyways, so they've probably aged out of those roles. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to think about a reboot. If JMS is doing it, then I'll probably want to see it. If he's not involved, or is only tangentially involved, I don't know if I'm going to want to watch it. So, but that's a great question, and thanks for bringing that to my attention, because I had no idea that they were actually working on a reboot. I don't know how I missed this, because I love Babylon 5. But yeah, thanks for bringing that to my attention. I will want to know more, and I will be searching out more on this topic as we go on. So thank you. All right. Can't tell if he's writing the pilot or more. God, I hope. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, that's his show. I don't care who actually owns the rights. That's his show. So, all right. Do we have any more questions that people want to ask? I am happy to provide answers as best I can. So, Ivanova is a god? Yes, she is. Oh my gosh. Oh my goddess. I don't know if I did I tell you? I mean, I was at the con from a few years ago. It was basically a Babylon 5 reunion convention. It was held in Galveston. It was really good, and I got to talk to who did I got to talk to a lot of the cast. Mira Furlan, I got to talk to her. I got to talk to Peter Jurasik, and I got to talk to Stephen First. I got to talk to Veer, you know, which that was great. Both he and Jurasik were just fascinated when I told them I was a librarian. They're like, "You're a librarian? That's fascinating. What on earth do you do?" You know, like that was they didn't say that, but like that was you know, they were so fascinated that I felt like they wanted to ask that, and you know, they didn't, because they were, you know, they were polite and professional, but they were great. They were wonderful. So all right, guys. So I don't see any more questions, which is fine. You guys have a good evening. Thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it. And your feedback really helps me to grow the show. It really helps me to put on a better show, and hopefully you guys are noticing that my production is getting better. It's slowly getting better, but it is getting better. So thank you guys for your support. Thank you guys for just showing up and hanging out with me, and just, you know, commenting in the chat, and you know, just for watching my videos. I really appreciate it. It does help put a spring in my step, and it really does. I mean, it's really made my birthday today very special. So thank you very much for it. And I think we're gonna go ahead and say goodbye for the evening. So once again, you know, this has been the Spidey Librarian Action Hour. I really appreciate you guys coming by, and until my next stream or